What's up, Scampers? I'm finally coming to you from the road. It's fall, the kids are back in school, the bugs are dying. This is my favorite time of year to travel, so I'm going to do a cross-country trip and back, and I'm going to do the entire thing without hookups of any kind. So come along, I'll show you how I do things. I've been looking forward to this trip for a long time. I get to do some of my favorite things with some of my favorite people. I'm going to be backpacking in Yellowstone. I get to go surfing a whole bunch. So I've really been looking forward to this trip. And I took off last night from home and I spent my first night in this service plaza alongside a toll road. I love overnighting in rest stops and service plazas because it's completely free. They have bathrooms that are open 24 hours. They have water filling stations. You can rinse your dishes, brush your teeth inside the bathrooms if you need to. And if you luck out like I did, you can get a spot in an overflow lot where you don't have to be between the semis. I don't really sleep very well when I'm parked between semis with their generators running and they're coming and going all night. I found this spot in the overflow lot and I got a really good night's sleep. So let me show you everything I'm going to do to get back on the road. Anytime I do a quick overnighter, I leave pretty much everything attached up here, my chains and my brake cable. I don't mess with that, but I do unplug my power cord from my trailer. I never want to take the risk of my trailer battery drawing from my tow vehicle battery when my tow vehicle's off at night. So just to be cautious, I unplug this power cable. So the first thing I do when I wake up is plug it back in so I don't forget and start towing without my lights working. Then before I start driving, I just want to make sure I turn my propane off. I don't want to drive with that on. My fridge is electric. There's no reason for it to be on. I don't always have my stabilizer jacks down, but it was really windy here last night, so I put them down. So I definitely want to make sure those are up before I roll out of here. That would be an awful mistake to make. Trailer's hooked up, the lights are working. Time to go. Hello from the second morning on the road. As you can see, I did not spend the night in a truck stop or roadside rest stop. While I was driving yesterday, I decided this head cold I'm fighting was getting the best of me, and I wanted somewhere a little more peaceful to spend the night and get some really good rest. So I was looking for a place that didn't have cars coming in and out all night and wasn't super well lit. So I opened up the Dirt app on my lunch break yesterday, and I was able to filter campsites that were $25 and under along my route. So I kind of picked a spot within the vicinity of where I thought I could drive to, however many hours I had left in me to drive. And I was able to find this spot for 12 bucks. This is a very primitive campground. It doesn't have any amenities other than a pit toilet and a fire pit and free firewood, surprisingly. But for 12 bucks, I think that's a steal. I've paid more than $12 just for firewood. The Dirt app is really awesome for finding stuff while you're on the road. I don't like to pre-plan all my stops and have to get to certain places and feel like I have to drive further than I want to if I get tired. I like to just kind of wing it and find stuff as I go. So the Dirt app is great for that. And I don't like to give away exact locations, one for my safety and two because I never want to blow up the local secret spot. But if you're curious in finding this place, I will tell you that I was along the 80 and near Cedar Rapids in Iowa. And that's all I'm going to tell you. So if you want to use the Dirt to filter campsites under $25 in the area, there aren't that many. I bet you could find it if you really wanted to. I'm not going to make it super easy for you because doing the research and finding the places on your own is kind of part of the adventure. I got a really good night's sleep here. I feel very rested. I feel like I can finally beat this head cold and it's time to hit the road. I have 17 more hours of driving ahead of me. So let's see how far I get today. Well, I'm running ahead of schedule, so I have time for a little bit of self-care. Can you guess what it is? Hey, can I purchase a shower, please?
Do you have a Love's card?
I don't. Not bad. Man, I feel like a woman. Bump, bump, bump. If you're thinking, hey, $17 for a shower, wouldn't it have just been cheaper to find a campground that had showers? It wasn't. The cheapest thing I could find that wasn't going way super far out of the way was 40 bucks. So it cost me $12 for the campsite last night, $17 for the shower. So I still saved $9. So it may have taken me 2 stops, but again, I didn't have to use my own towel. It was super convenient and super clean, plenty of hot water. I can take as long of a shower as I want. If you're thinking, wait a second, doesn't your Scamp have its own shower? You're right. But I'm not using any plumbing on this trip, and I'm doing that for several reasons. This entire trip is going to be hookup free. I'm not going to have hookups anywhere I camp, so I'm not using my plumbing at all. And I'm doing that to save battery power. I don't need to use the battery to power my pump. I don't have the extra weight of the water that's on board that I have to tote in and dump and find places to dump. And thirdly, I'm going to show you the main reason I'm not using my shower. On a trip like this, my bathroom is my closet. There's a lot of stuff in there, plenty of space to pack lots of stuff, so it's way easier for me to just use it for a storage closet instead of trying to use it as a toilet and a shower, because I'm not using my plumbing anyway, so I might as well use the space. Let's ride. Good morning, I'm back on the road. I don't typically like to film while I'm driving, but this morning was a little bit unique. I had to book it out of my campsite that I found. I got some footage before I left, but Verizon's network went down today, and since that's my phone carrier, I had to book it somewhere to get Wi-Fi to let my wife know that I was okay. I didn't want her worrying about me. We had about a 2-hour window where I wasn't able to text or call her, and I know that that would make her nervous, so I booked it to McDonald's, got some breakfast, hopped on their Wi-Fi, downloaded the route I need to drive today, downloaded some music to listen to, and handled everything I needed to handle, got in touch with my wife, put her mind at ease. So I didn't get to film or talk too much about the campsite I found last night. I'll show you the footage I did get. I stayed in Nebraska last night. I found a really awesome campsite, again through the dirt. This time I filtered for first come first served campsites because it's the weekend, so I wanted to make sure that I had a good chance of finding an actual site that I could pull into. And I have a lot of luck with the first come first served stuff, so I was able to find a really great campground by a lake that had concrete pads to park on, so I didn't have to worry about leveling. It was really simple, easy to pull in, had some facilities. It had flush toilets this time and running water in the bathroom, which was cool because I could rinse my dishes. The bathrooms were heated, which was surprising. The people before me did leave me a gift of a bunch of trash in my fire pit, but they also left some firewood, so I got some free firewood out of it and threw that in the back of the truck from when I do get to a campground where I want to stay put and actually have a fire. And once I get to a campground where I'm going to stay put, I will talk to you a little bit more about how I'm getting along without hookups. The campground I found last night actually did have electrical hookups, but I didn't bother plugging in since I was only staying for a quick overnight stop. And I don't need the electrical connections. I am set up to be completely self-contained. I don't need water, I don't need power, and I will talk to you about how I'm pulling that off once I get to a campsite where I can detach and show you my whole setup. I'll cover all that and how I like to eat, and I haven't really talked about my road food very much because I mostly just do no-cook breakfasts and stuff while I'm on the road. So I'll do oatmeal or protein shakes or things that don't require a lot of dishes. I eat a lot of like overnight oats and berries and stuff like that that I don't need a lot of dishes for, so that way I don't have to worry about cleaning the dishes since I'm not using the plumbing in my Scamp. That's how I'm rolling. I'm back on the road. Hopefully Verizon will get its act together soon and I can get reception here, or otherwise I'll probably just end up on a roadside rest stop again tonight because I won't be able to look for campgrounds in the area I plan to stop. So that's where I'm at. I've got about 13 more hours of driving to go, and I'm gonna put my phone down and focus. I'll talk to you soon. That was a super long day of driving, but I made it into Wyoming and I found a free campsite, and it was too dark to film it when I rolled in, but I can't wait to show it to you in the morning. I can't wait for you to see what I found. I'll pick you back up in the morning. See you then. Well, hello from a really gorgeous but frigid morning here in Wyoming. Can you believe I got all of this for free? This is a free campsite. This is a BLM campground here in Wyoming, and I found this one using freecampsites.net, which is an amazing resource that has an interactive map. So you can zoom in on the area you want to spend time in, and you can see all the free camping options in that area. And BLM, which is the Bureau of Land Management, has free campsites all over the country. Typically, they're usually just a parking spot and they don't have any amenities at all. But this campground is kind of unique because even though it's free, it's got tables, fire pits, there's a vault toilet, there's well water, and it even has trash cans. That's a lot of amenities for a free campsite for a BLM spot. I told you how I found it, but I'm not going to tell you exactly where it is. I want this to be more inspiration than information. This campground only has 5 sites, and I rolled in last minute and was able to get one. I don't want to blow up a spot like this and make it impossible to get a campsite in the future. So I hope you're finding inspiration, but I am giving you the information on the resources I used to find it. If you're willing to do a little bit of research, some preparation, and go a little further off the grid, this is the kind of thing that you can find out here. I know it's not for everybody, especially solo female travelers. It doesn't feel as safe out here. It's super dark at night, which makes for great stargazing, but there's no lights. It's really dark. You never know who's going to be out here, wild animals and such. So I always come prepared with some sort of self-defense. I've got bear spray on me right now, which if it'll stop a grizzly, it'll stop any two-legged predator of any kind. But make sure you have all your water and your supplies if you're going to come out here. But if you have the courage to leave the security of the grid and the well-lit campgrounds, this is the kind of thing you can find out here. I'm not going to tell you exactly where it is, but I told you how I found it. And this one was less than 10 miles off the 80 in Wyoming. So there's a lot of really good stuff out here if you're willing to do a little bit of research. And I definitely feel like doing the research and exploring and finding these places yourself is half the adventure. So I don't want to take that part away from you either. This spot is so gorgeous. I wish I could spend a few days here, but I've got to get to Idaho. So it's time for me to hit the road again. Sadly, I've got to leave this beauty. Now that was a drive. I finally made it to Idaho. I got my Scamp all tucked in here on a friend's driveway. It's time to pack and get ready to go backpack through Yellowstone. I can't wait to show you what we find out there. Crossing my fingers for a moose.
My name is Merrick, and this is Amy, and we are going on a backpacking trip for 4 days.
And we're at the Beckler Trailhead, which is in the southwest corner of the park. It's this long dirt road to get in. So we are actually in Yellowstone National Park, and nothing about where we are feels like we're in one of the busiest national parks in the country.
I mean, wow, how beautiful is Yellowstone, right? Goodness gracious. I think this is probably a great place to end this video. When I get to California, I'll open up my full kit. I'll show you how I've been able to achieve staying off grid for so long. I'll show you all the components and I'll simplify it, make it really easy if you want to do it too. So come back for the next video and check that one out. And thank you so much for watching this one. I'll see you next time. Happy scamping.